Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics Tuesday night Q&A ahead of round 25 weeks to go. Not too much longer left, but of course, we have another forced trade, as we all know, in Max Home. So that will be fun to have to do another forced trade, which we've had to do plenty of times this year. I'm your host, Bales, and you can find BAILSDT across the socials. And joining me is one of my co-hosts and fellow AFL Fantasy Fanatics, is Jordox. Jordox, mate, how are you? How was the weekend?
G'day, mate. Yeah, good weekend. Pretty busy. Didn't catch as much footy as I would have liked, but I was watching Friday night and it was beautiful.
I had a feeling when you said, "Oh, but," and I said, "I said to see watch Friday night." So pretty happy with that one,
Yeah.
I'm sure, mate. Where are we going to start? Oh, I know. As I said, forced trade. We have another one. So Max
Mm,
Holmes, you're one of your boys. I know you love Max Holmes. So I guess that the
so,
first thing we'll probably dive straight into is where are you going? Who you get? Who at least a few of the options that you are considering, and maybe the coach out there should be considering.
well, look, let's look at the positives. He didn't go down in the first quarter, so he hasn't lost a heap of cash. Still scored 69, so it's a reasonable price. So I think most can get pretty much anyone. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
for me, I think my first thought was I'm looking forward to seeing how Archie Roberts goes on Sunday, because if he looked the goods, I reckon it'd be him. Um, he was okay. I don't know if I'll jump to him now. But I was looking at today and I actually thought it's an opportunity to fund another move. So I'm looking at Miles Bergman, who's I think 600 something. I had it up before. Really good price. I just think he is, he's not going to be a top six from here to the end, sure, but I think he'll be good enough. And the fact that they put him in the midfield in only his third game back um, is a good sign to me. So Bergman, and then I can grab a midfielder. Yeah, whether it's a Bont or someone like that. What about
Yeah.
you? What's your early thoughts?
My early thoughts is probably, well, from my own side, Wayne Miller, probably the first one I go to, and he's one of the more popular picks for the week. I think he is the most traded player this weekend. And certainly, who would have thought this at the start of the year that Wayne Miller at round 20 would be one of the most traded in of the year, and people that have held him through most of the year be very, very happy with what he's done, because both of us thought he's a good player, but is he ever going to be that fantasy guy? Like, you don't typically see these defenders like later in their careers break out. We've seen Jack Sinclair, and I know that you said this early in the year. You said like preseason, like Wayne Miller, like, he's going to have opportunity there. Could he be a Jack Sinclair type breakout, or is he just going to be like a solid good player? And he hasn't had the Sinclair breakout like at the 100+ average, but he's sort of close. He's like averaging mid-90s. He's now got a good run coming up. He's got Collingwood, Richmond, Essendon, or Essendon, Richmond. I can't remember what order, but he's got those in his X3, and they're three of the top five best matchups for halfbacks. So it's a great little run that he's got. So I'm looking there. I think some of the others I've sort of looked at. I guess if you don't have it, Nasiah, he's the sort of obvious one to go to, even though he does have a couple of tags still coming up. Still think that the Mullen tag was the hardest of the three. So if he's getting a mid-70 score in that one, I think he'll still go fine against Foss this week. And then Jordan, I still think the Giants boys are still there, even though they were pretty bad on the weekend. I think that was just a Giants blip. So it'd be just typical of the Giants to lose to Essendon, but come out and beat Sydney. That would just be like the typical Giants thing to do this year. Yeah, so I think that Miller is probably the standout one there, but I'd also quite like Brad Hill. If you're happy to pay up for him, and you didn't get him last week at an expensive price. John Noble as well was good against the Dogs. Could he be an option? Cal Wilkie, Nick Newman, some of the guys we talked about over the last few weeks that you could look at as potential options. But I got two sort of other smoky options for you. So one that Tom suggested on Friday last week and came up with a massive score, and another cheaper one. So you've got Jarman Impey, obviously dropped 130. He's got the Bombers this week. Then he's got Brisbane, so a tougher matchup. But then after that, North Melbourne, then Brisbane, then Collingwood. So three of his next four are decent. And then Colby McKercher, if we get news of, I feel like we mentioned Colby as a trade option and trade out option more than any other player on the pod this year. But
Yeah,
there's just he played half back second half last week, and I know a lot of North Melbourne fans are just saying stick him back there. So we'll see if that happens. So it's a lot riskier. But so your thoughts on any of those options I mentioned, plus Impey and McKercher?
Yeah. Well, look, Miller at first. Funnily enough, that 128 was a career high score for him, which I thought was quite interesting at 28 years of age. But that just speaks to his unfulfilled potential throughout his career. I'd be a little bit nervous bringing him in. I'd be a bit nervous bringing in Miller. And the reason being, he's around the same price as, Whitfield. I wouldn't mind talking about Callum Mills as well. He's 9.14, a little bit more. But the reason I'd be a bit nervous about Miller is just how cautious the Crows were with that little hamstring concern a few weeks ago. He's had the 2 weeks off. He's come back. He's looked really good. But Collingwood this week, a couple of, quote unquote, easier fixtures. I don't know. I could see a world where they give him another rest before finals. But that's me being a little bit cautious and even paranoid. But I just think if you're paying that money, what do you reckon?
I would have agreed. But the fact that Laird's still a few weeks away and Hinge is still out, I don't think they've got the necessary defender to come in and fill the shoes, and the Crows still need to win, and they need to catch up percentage, because if Sydney drop a game and the Crows pick up that game that they've got and catch up, there's about 10% difference. So like they might look at these games and go, well, we need to, 1, win them, but 2, get up 10% just to give us a chance of maybe seeing those spots. So I would have agreed, yes, but I think the fact that he missed 2 weeks already, I think that they'll want to get him a bit of continuity going into finals. That's probably where I lean to. But if he hadn't missed, I would have said, there could have been a bit of management.
It's just the way they handled it that made me think. Ooh. But yeah, no, it's a fair point. A couple of other names you mentioned. Jarman Impey's interesting.
Huge on the weekend, 137.
He was huge. A few of the Hawks sort of feasted on the Tigers.
Bombers this week. Yeah. He's cheap, so it's like one of those guys that could fund a move, as you said. Like, right, it's you get someone that's under 800, fund to move someone.
787. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, who are there out? So Weddle's back. So, Amon is out. Battle's back. Sicily's there.
Really, Amon's the big one. He's picking up
a
bit of that ball, plus obviously the ball that he got before, right? So
yeah. And then who else did we have?
Colby, and then obviously
Brad Hill and Colby. Guys on top. Just forget.
Colby. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. No.
There's no logic. Like if you said, well, he played half back in the second half, maybe but we've seen it. We've seen it this year. We've seen it last year. He plays half back. He makes us fantasy coaches happy, and then boom, he's half forward again for no apparent reason. They've got who's the Boomer's son? Harvey's back there at the minute doing well. They got Luke Parker. They got all these names.
Daniel.
I've got McKercher, and every week I think, should I get rid of him now? So anyway, does play St Kilda. Does play St Kilda. So it's a good matchup, but yeah, I'd be a little bit, don't know. But what do you think about Bergman? Bergman's a bit out of the blue, but
it's out of the blue. But we obviously saw this at the back part of last year when he was a midfielder, and the fact that like Butters and Rosie and Horn-France be back this week, but Joe Richards is out now for a month, which sucks
exactly
because he looked really good on the weekend. So at someone that's priced at 643, if you've got like a number of rookies on the field, and you could go like a rookie across to Bergman, and you could go Holmes to one of those top defenders, or getting Bergman gets you like a Fitzgerald who's on field or whatever, and get you up to a Dunkley type or whatever.
Yeah,
I think I'll tick it off
because I can go Holmes down to Bergman, and then I can either go Hall Kahan to Caleb Sarong, or I can go Jacob Farrow to Bond or someone.
Yeah, and that sort of move I quite like. You're getting the top 8 mid, and defenders were unsure about a lot of these options anyway, so you could take a punt on someone that could hopefully get you a mid-80s to mid-90s sort of, hopefully like that in the midfield. I think they've got Port. What's their run? So they got Brisbane this week, so it's tough, but then Giants, Sydney, Melbourne, Essendon. So it's not an amazing sort of 2 of the next 3, but you're getting someone priced in the 600, so it could certainly work. It's not going to work for everyone. But that could be someone. Ashton says another one there as well that I know that Tom, when I was chatting to him about this yesterday, Lawson Humphreys as well.
I looked at him today.
With Max Holmes now out, obviously we're looking at these Geelong players because of the run coming up, and they've got Melbourne, Collingwood, Essendon, North Melbourne, Richmond. So it's almost as good a run as you can get for half back. So I guess the worry for me is that he hasn't been a consistently high scorer, but has that just been because Max Holmes has been back there or Tom Stewart's been stealing a lot of the ball, where it seems like Humphreys is sort of, I think he's 3 of his last 4 have been over, over 90, 3 of his last 4. So he's been scoring well, and he's scored well in the 2 good matchups that he's had in his last 2. So what are your thoughts on a Humphreys and then Tom Stewart if you want to go even a bit more risky, even though I probably couldn't?
Don't tempt me, Bales. What is Stewart? 685. Yeah. I looked at Humphrey as well today and thought similar, just with Holmes out and he's like, I think a 3rd-year player maybe. So, he hasn't done it before, but he could certainly finish the season strong, especially with that run. I think the thing with him and Impey that puts me off a little bit is it's 800K it's good, but yeah, no, look, it is very good. It depends what you want to do with the other move, I guess. But for me, looking at it, it's not enough. It's not cheap enough for me to take that risk. I'd rather go further down or just, get someone I really trust.
Someone that's more,
If I had to pick one, though, out of Impey and Humphrey, probably, you'd have to go Impey. Just the experience.
I feel like I trust Impey a bit more just with that ceiling that he's
got. What about Bowie at 875? I mean, he's been the picture of consistency.
Yep, he's been good. He just obviously the last 2 weeks he's been good. Right before that, he didn't have that sort of enough of that ceiling. But last 2 weeks it's been more back to what we saw last year. I guess the only
Salem should be back this week. Hey,
that's what I was going to say. That with Salem back, that probably I don't know. Salem was there a lot last year, but probably just enough to sort of go. No, probably not for me. But then you've got like even Jace Burgoyne played midfield on the weekend for Port. He was good. Like there's a lot of options, but there's not a lot of options that go, I'm the pick. Like that's why I think Wayne Miller for me probably stands out just with his form this year, his run.
And then with the same mindset for me to go 200K lower and get Bergman makes sense. So
yeah, no, I agree. And then I would have said Josh Dagos, but there is a little bit of a cloud over him going into this game. I think he'll play. I don't see him not playing. He finished out the game on the weekend. It's a short break. He missed training today, but players at this time of year are always carrying some little niggle, and they do miss training from here and there. So I think he's fine. Don't know if I'd trade in just with the tough run they've got coming up. And then the other thing that coaches could do as well, with the fact that Crows and Collingwood play Thursday night, if you've got a Hawker Hahn, you could chuck him as the emergency. If he scores well, you could do another trade if you've got other issues like a Petrarca or like me, like an LDU, or if you've got a Durham, if you want to upgrade him, or a Marshall if TDK's back. So you've got other options to do if Hull Khan scores well. So that is another option for you if you want to have a look at that. But we do have a couple of super chats here as well, so we'll get through a couple of these. So Tim's got the first one. He says he's got Durham, Petrarca, Reed, Banks in his utility spot. He says he's also got Max Holmes as well. Which 2 would you trade out? And options he's looking at bringing in is Miller, Rankin, Whitfield, Neal, Sarong, Myers, and then Jai Clark, which I'd probably cross out off of the list. But the other ones there, I don't mind as options. But firstly, who would you trade out? So obviously Holmes has got to be one, but who would go after out of Durham, Petrarca, Reed, and Banks in his utility spot?
Not Petrarca. I am adamant that Petrarca is going to hit a big score before the end of the year. I don't know when it's going to be, but he's just too good to keep doing this. Durham or Reed or Banks, yeah.
So did Banks in his utility spot? So it's either going essentially Banks down, I'm assuming. So I think I'd
Banks
still prefer
and Holmes out.
I would say yes, but just depends. Like if you're going down anyway, like Holmes is already probably going to get you to someone. Could you just go Durham, Petrarca, Reed on your field to someone better? Probably what I'm thinking.
Why are we jumping off Durham? He was.
I think it's just it's more just his last 3. It's probably sort of with frustrated with Petrarca and Durham's gone 69, 77, 79. But albeit 2 of those 3 games are against tougher opposition, but they do have Hawthorn, Adelaide, Geelong, Sydney in the next 4. So it's probably just looking at tough run coming up And he's not a top 6, so probably just looking to jump off him. I'll probably keep Murphy Reid. I feel like he's in a better side, probably got more of an ability to score more of those 90 scores. Darren Petrarca, you said...
He just had the one bad one, didn't he, Reid? Let me look at him. Yeah. He's got the derby Friday night. He's going to fly. I reckon Murphy Reid will absolutely revel in the bright lights of a derby.
I'm probably one of Darren or Petrarca out. I don't want either, to be honest. I really don't want either. You said that you probably got more faith that Petrarca hits a better score soon, so maybe it is Darren, but Darren's got a better role, right? So it's a tricky one. Like, if you can go Banks up to someone and loop between Darren and Petrarca, then brilliant. Do that. Like, if you can go like Holmes down to like Miller, for example, and then you could go someone up, I'd do that. But I think if you could go like Holmes slightly down to like, if maybe Miller, and you could go one of Petrarca or Darren, probably Darren, because you probably can't get Petrarca up, and you can go to Rankin, get the 2 pro boys with the next 3. I think that's probably where I lean.
Petrarca's role was better this week, though. Yeah, like the CBAs were much higher.
Yeah, they're a little bit better, but still, it's still just Gold Coast. I just don't like or trust Gold Coast at the moment.
Well, that's what I mean. Gold Coast, like, something's got to give. They've lost 8 in a row, Bales. Like, they're going to win again. It's crazy.
Well, are they? Like, I don't know. Like, they don't look like they're going to win a game at any point. Like, they're Carlton this week, so like,
maybe they should sack Bimmer, bring back Stuart Dew.
Anyway, yeah, but I think Whitfield, I wouldn't get this week with the Sydney matchup, but after that, I'd look at him there. Like Neil, Sarong, good options, but I think I do like the Crows boys with the fact that the next 3 matchups, and Rankin's looking really, really good in that midfield. So I'd probably go Rankin and Miller if you can. If you can't get both, maybe go like if it's an Archie Roberts or a Jarman Impey type, and then go get Rankin on the other side. That's probably where I lean to there for you, Tim. With trades, but
don't mind the Myers shout though. 800k, good run.
I just worry with the knee. I just worry with the knee.
But they've only got a few weeks left. Yeah, you're right. But anyway, cool.
An option. Next super chat is from Will. Thank you, mate. Thoughts on Holmes to Miller and Sarong to Philippo with 100k in the bank, getting my last rookie off the field. So much, obviously, that is the Jai Sarong variety. I like the trades. Tick for me. Philippo's been good.
Oh, I love it. He's been great. He's been really good. Got north this week. 3 good weeks in a row, playing really strong midfield minutes where they should have been playing him to start with. I don't know why he was in forward pocket, but I digress. Yep, great moves, Wilbur.
Yep, I like it. I'll be ticking those off, Will, for sure. Jack's got another super chat here as well. Thank you, mate. Banks to Polkinghorn and Holmes to Nasiah. Or bank cash to upgrade one of my 2 rookies on field. No, I like trades. So
yeah, get Nasiah.
Nasiah. I know that he's got attention, but hey, like he had the toughest tag he can get. Right, Mullen's still. I know Mullen has had tags at times this year where he hasn't probably clamped on for 4 quarters and has done enough. But hey, that was a old school hard tag from Mullen. Didn't literally 4 seconds to go in the last quarter, and he was still on Nasiah's tail. So I'm getting Nasiah in. I don't think Foss is going to be as hard of a tag as what the Mullen tag was, and then Jordan. I still think Nasiah can get Jordan on the outside. So I like those trades. I'll be ticking and Polking. Look bloody good, by the way. I don't think he's going to be a big score, but he's a forward. So I think that's
he'll play every game for the rest of the year.
Yeah, exactly. With Jeremy Cameron missing. Rosa has got the super chat. Thank you, mate. Trading in Rankin 100%. McAndrew to Gawn, play Hall Kahan on field, or Jai Sarong to Miller and McAndrew on field. No other rooks left. So Rankin, great. Yeah, we love that trade. Does this come down to if Max Heath's named? I know that obviously Geelong matchup for Gawn this week is great. But McHenry's still been solid, right? And he's still got a couple of Cameron's a good matchup for Rucks, which McHenry's got. Then he goes Essendon Richmond, right? So he's got 3 good matchups for Rucks in the next 3. Does it just come down to if he's not there, you'd be happy to go get Gawn? So if Heath is there, you'd just be happy to just do Jai Sarong to Miller, or does maybe Gawn solid? Would that change your mind? You can't loop Hall to have a look.
It would definitely play. Like if you're 50-50 Rosa and you see Heath out, it might be the thing that pushes you to get it. Go Gawn. I think I'm with Gawn. In this scenario, I'm going with the Gawn option. Yeah, one, I really trust Horn Francis. Hugo Hawker-Hahn. Got the wrong hyphen. I really trust him on field at the minute. I love McAndrew, but you just get Gawn and then you're set. You don't have to think about it. And I'm a little twitchy on Miller. So tough one.
I'm surprised you're twitchy on Miller because I thought you'd be quite keen because I'm quite keen. So I just thought they would go hand in hand. Crows fans keen on Miller, but
I love what he's doing. I love it. I've got him in my keeper. I've got him everywhere. Maybe there's a bit of self-preservation, and it's like I don't want to, because
I try to keep the lid on it because you don't want to jinx it. So you just like
that's the one. Yeah.
No, I do like Miller though as an option, but yeah, I think this literally for me just comes down to Heath's name. If Heath isn't there, I'd go Gawn because the ceiling could be huge this week. Hawk-Hunt against Collingwood should be pretty solid. And if Heath is there, I'd go Josh Wrong to Miller. And I think it's an upgrade. And you get McAndrew for another week and you can keep rolling him through. Because I do think Josh Wrong to Miller is the better trade, but Gawn could have the ceiling. So that's what I'd be looking at there, Rosa. Tim also asking about Tom Stewart as well. I couldn't do it. I know he's cheap. I'd rather Bergman at 50K cheaper or a Humphrey / Impey type that are about 90, 100K cheaper. And more expensive. That's where I'd be going. I couldn't trust Stewart. He's could be in line for a rest as well with some of these easy matchups as well because I don't think he's had a rest for a while. Obi Simon has got super chat. Thank you, mate. Hey, guys, currently sitting 151st. So congrats, mate, on a very good rank. Tossing up between Anderson to Bont or fix a read to someone. I've got Sheasel, Rankin, DeGoey, Cozzy, and Zach Bailey. Or Wilmot to someone. I've got Ash, Nasiah, Jacos, Noble, Ash, and he said Willera. That's obviously many way Miller. Yeah, where would you go? So Anderson to Bont. So obviously Anderson's been disappointed last few weeks, and Bont has got Richmond this week. So it's obviously a very good matchup, and he is highly owned. So maybe is that just cancelling out around there? Could go Reed to I'm seeing Shees, Rankin to go Pickett, and Zach Bailey. So I'm just thinking who would be the forward option that you get, like maybe Brad Hill. Would that be the one that you don't? Brad Hill, Chad Warner, JHF, one of those three, probably one of the three that you're probably going for. Toot Miller, the other cheaper one that you could go to, or Wilmot to someone to look like Ash and side, Jacos, Noble, Ash. So maybe say Whitfield, right? So Wilmot to Whitfield, Reed to JHF, Warner, Brad Hill, or Anderson to Bont. It's all a bit sideways, but he's 151st, so it's obviously going quite well. If you had to do one for moving forward, what would it be?
Oh, boy. I think first instinct was just Anderson to Bont. The thought of not having Bont when he's got this Richmond fixture, terrifies me. That's why I'm trying to get him. But Anderson was so good. And it's a bit like Petrarca. Something's got to give there. Wilmot's interesting. I've got him, and he's been pretty frustrating the last few weeks. But geez, if they rest Zorko, or they're a bit more cautious with him, Wilmot might be okay. And I think Reed plays really well in the derby and looks pretty good for the next bit. So, yeah, I'd say Anderson to Bont.
Yeah, I'm Anderson to Bont, or I'm probably then Reed up. If you can get Reed up to a Brad Hill, particularly, that's at that price, or if you can get to even a JHF or Chad, probably Chad Warner, probably go over JHF just because tough matchups for Port. And with Butters not there, JHF becomes the number one tag target. So that would just be my only sort of slight flag. I would say Anderson to Bont because I want Bont because I think for Obi's position being at 151st, not having Bont against Richmond, could be if he goes 150 and everyone around you's got him, you're going to lose some ground. So I probably think it comes down to what are you wanting to obviously 151st. Have you got enough uniques in your team that you can make that ground up by getting Bont in? Because maybe cancelling Bont out would be the best move for Obi just to get rid of that possible ceiling. So it could be a big score against Richmond. Or do you want to go against it? Do you have many pods and then maybe go for a forward or a defender? So I think Obi that comes down to that. I'd probably first instinct, I agree with Josh. I think it sucks going Anderson out because he was so good, right? But probably Anderson to Bont because I don't know if you're going to have the cash to go Reed up. But yeah, Wilmot has been frustrating at times as well, but he's got a decent run. He's got Port Adelaide at the Gabba this week, so I think that's a matchup where he can probably go decent in. So And if Wilmot had, if Whitfield had a better matchup this week, I would have said Wilmot to Whitfield. But unfortunately, the Sydney matchup, I just don't think you're going to get that score from Whitfield this week. So, sorry, we haven't given you sort of a concise option there, but hopefully the discussion has helped you there. But mate, congrats on a 151st rank, mate. Congrats, and hopefully you keep going well and can get that hat. Had's got a super chat. Thank you, mate. Trade 1 is going Petrarca to Rankin. That's already locked in. Second trade, he's doing which is the better upgrade. So Durham to a Sparrow or Bailey. Sorry, it's probably one we didn't mention. Actually, he's a forward. He went pretty well on the weekend. Or Josh Dacos down to Miller, gets Durham to JHF or Warner next week. So you Durham out. I think I'm Durham to one of those forwards over Dacos to Miller personally. Are you the same?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, obviously that pushes it, but yeah, no, Josh Dacos is good. I mean, he can just go huge, and they've still got up their sleeve. If Collingwood's midfield's getting beaten, they could throw Josh in there. And what was that game last year? He scored.
Yeah, 82 points last quarter. And yes, I know the exact score because I owned him. Man, it was pretty exciting. I just think you get a bigger up. I just think you get probably the 10, 15 points extra going Durham to a Sparrow or Zach Bailey compared to, and I know Tom Sparrow was good last week, but that was his first real decent score for a while. Like he'd been pretty consistently like getting 80s and 90s. Like that was his first ton since round 10. He'd gone a few 80s, a few 90s. Obviously, the last 4 weeks, though, 97, 95, and 130 have been good. And what's their runs? They got Geelong this week, Gold Coast, Freo, Port, Dogs. So it's 2 of the next 3 aren't great, but the other 3 are decent enough. And then what's that? So Zach Bailey's also been pretty good as well. So he's gone 99, 103, 99, 82, 110 in his last 5. So that's been good. Port, Carlton, Hawthorn, Gold Coast. I like the run better for Zach Bailey, I think. So are you going there as well?
I reckon Sparrow. It just that consistency is just. He's just been incredible this year.
I think both have been pretty consistent, to be fair. Like obviously, Zach Bailey's had 1 or 2 bad scores early in the year, but since round 10, his lowest score was in round 10, being 77. You got a 78.
Yeah,
and
that's
everything
fair.
else has been over 80.
No, that's fair. I must confess I haven't looked at Zach Bailey too closely, especially since I heard he might be staying at Brisbane now. I'm not interested in him at all. Sparrow career high score as well on the weekend, the 130.
Yeah, he was good. Very, very
tough
good.
one. Very, very good. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it is a fixture thing then between the two.
Yes, I think we're going there. Like I would want Miller more this week, but Jacos down to him. Like if Jacos is playing, I still think he's a top 6 just with the defense that have gone down. And even though he's got a tough run, I think he'll still put up some good scores. That's probably where I'm going. Corey Bladge with a very generous super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. He's saying, I'm thinking of trading Callaghan this week for a mid or even Anderson. Last week would have been 570 overall if I looped Reed over Pickett. Would have got track on field. It went down 70 spots. Can loop Marshall and Petrarca this week. So, yeah, I think if you could loop Codsey this week on your bench, that would be ideal because he's got the Mullen tag probably coming up. And I know Corey does have the 23rd primo. Thoughts on trading a Callaghan or no? Well, we talked about Norans a little bit. What are your thoughts on trading one of those 2 this week?
Callaghan, 940, playing the Swans. I reckon he might get some attention, hey?
Yeah.
Especially if he tries to go to half. Well, he can't go to halfback because that's just where Jordan will
yeah, I was going to say,
take it.
Yeah, even if it's not one of those ones where you can escape the tag, right? If he goes halfback, Jordan will follow him. On Callaghan now, like I own Callaghan and he's been okay, but he had a couple of decent scores against Hawthorn and Melbourne, but like since round 14, 82, 102, 121, 96, 84, 88. That's just not getting it done as a midfielder. Like Anderson, okay, he's had a couple bad weeks, but I got more trust in Anderson bouncing back to a 110 than Callaghan getting back over 100, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah, and then you get the tag this week as well, probably for Callaghan. So I'm jumping off of him, I think. And I'd like to do the same at some point, but obviously I've got a few other guys I need to doing that instead. Got a super chat from Darcy Bones Jones. Thank you, mate. Hey, lads. have 849k to upgrade my second last rookie in any line. Is it Humphreys, Impey, Caleb Sarong, or the best value play? So let's just for argument's sake, let's say it's a Bergman type or a Filippo, one of those two, right? If you get one of those, where would you go out of these guys?
I love the Sarong play. Yeah, what's that? 3 tons in a row, and he's priced 844. What's he doing? Yeah, 3 tons in a row.
Next 3 are really nice matchups as well. West Coast, Bulldogs, and Melbourne, and he loves playing West Coast as well in his career.
Yeah, I think there. Certainly out of those names, Sarong.
I don't mind Filippo though.
Humphreys.
Filippo, if you want to go there, but
he's a bit cheaper, but Sarong. I mean, Sarong gets going. I know we got play that way anymore, but Sarong of a few years ago, the ceiling was huge.
I know that Freo don't score a lot, but of those names there, I've got more faith in Sarong scoring a ton than the other guys on a consistent basis. Like Humphreys and Impey are good because they got good runs, but if you can get a midfield like a Sarong in over them, I'd go there. Filippo's the one I'd consider possibly instead, if that maybe trades Petrarca, Durham type to a midfielder next week, get you a bigger midfielder, that would be something I'd consider. But if it's just for this week to get someone, I think Sarong's the one there. I'm just having a quick peek. Is there anyone sort of a little bit cheaper that I'd go? Probably not that sort of screams out yet that I'd be going there. So I'll probably go Sarong this week. As I said, if though you can get Filippo this week and that trades a forward next week to a better midfielder, I'd do that personally because I'm not sold enough on Sarong to be smash pick. But I'd probably go Sarong out of those names there. Got another super chat from Timmy saying I've got midfield in my mids being Durham as well. So I'm not sure exactly how that relates to the trades, Tim, but thanks for letting us know that one. Right, let's go through some other questions as well. So Evil Cheese says, I stupidly have Zorko. I don't need to worry about Holmes. If I don't trade Zorko, should I try and upgrade Bailey Williams, Murphy, Reed, or Sam Durham? So who would go for you? Would you trade Zorko, just get off of the issue of being managed, rested, whatever, or would you upgrade a Williams, Reed, or Durham type?
Williams, West Coast Williams, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
What has the Bailey Williams been doing? So he's
been good.
He got 107 on the weekend, but before that, 73, 88, 82, 77. So as a forward, it's okay. It's around the Petrarca type areas, but he's got Jackson this week. But then he goes Richmond, Collingwood, GWS as a ruck trio. That's a nice run after this week for ruck. So I could hold him over Reed and Durham personally, just because it gives you some ruck cover at least. So if you've got a ruck issue, you don't have to trade a ruck if you need.
I think Zorko's your weapon. I think you gotta see
back him in.
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way: they put him on the bench for the last quarter because they were worried about his hammy. If he plays this week, if they name him and he's there at the start of the game, you just have to think he's good to go. And
they wouldn't risk him if he wasn't good.
No, why would they?
Yeah, I think you've got more faith that Zorko can turn it around and be a good scorer compared to the others. I think I'm Durham out. I know Durham's been good, but I think I'm him out first.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's probably where I would go. Casey Johns, 2 options here: Holmes to Rankin and Ison to Myers, or Holmes to Millerer and Fitzgerald to Rankin. I'm the second option.
I'm not good unless it's in front of me. Sorry, mate.
So it's getting Rankin in both. So it's essentially trade Fitzgerald out and get Millerer, or trade Ison out and get Myers, which I'm definitely getting. I'm getting Millerer over Myers for sure.
Yeah, I know that's an easy one for you. I like Myers though. I really do.
Fitzgerald's done his job. Like, he's made his money. If you've got some cover on the bench in the midfield, I'm getting Millerer.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Myers, I could just, like, there's games where they could rest him. I don't think they're going to rest him per se because they need him to get some continuity in there, and he was out for how many weeks playing VFL. But that knee, I'm still worried that, like, it's been so. If we had some concrete information about that knee and said, "Yep, no, his knee's good, it's healed. he's good to go. It's just as big a worry as any other person out in the field that he could go at any point. But it's just we've got no information. We don't know if it's hanging on by a thread. We don't know what's going on. So it's like I don't know if I can do it personally, but it just worries me a lot. Ashton Vivian, my current trades are Anderson to Baz. Yep, I don't mind getting Baz in. And Holmes to Humphrey/Miller. I haven't decided who yet. I think you're going. We're still backing in Miller over Humphreys. Yeah, if you got the cash, you go on there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but Anderson to Baz, like Baz, great, but
yeah,
are we ticking off Anderson out to do that?
Yeah. If it's the Baz, yes.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think so. PS Bales, it's a play on Darcy Jones' name, as I'm a Giants supporter and love my UFC. Right. No, I knew it was. I knew it had something to do with John Jones from UFC, but no, it's good. You've merged the two together. So, mate, I do like that one. Damon Stell, what's your thoughts on Jai Clark? Clear roll, shift down back. Holmes being out helps that move. For context, would be an F7 looper, e.g., fits to him and Holmes up to Heaney. What are your thoughts?
Just checking his price, $478K. If you listen to Finders Keepers, you'll know I'm very much into Jai Clark. Don't know about it for here though. I mean, the thing with the role at halfback is it was good, but Bruin will come back this week, and they've just shown they move players around so much.
It's just an awkward price.
It's an awkward price. Yeah, I think that's where I'm falling. Like.
In draft though, check it on your waivers, and you can have a punt there that way. It's such like 470 odd. Like, I guess you could say if there's nothing better you could do with the second trade, like if you couldn't get a player up to someone, but I'd almost rather just bank cash to then get that player up next week. So it's just it's just an awkward price, awkward time of year. If it was early in the year, then maybe we could have considered it, but just a bit of an awkward one. Next question from Rob Siver. Miller and Bailey Williams. Actually, he's what we didn't mention from the Dogs, because obviously Dale and Buderick being out, Williams is good on the weekend for the Dogs. So Miller and Bailey Williams for the Dogs, or Williams and Rankin. So it's essentially just Miller or Rankin is what you're tossing up, right? So where would you go if you had the two? I think I'm Isaac out of the two.
Rankin or Miller? Yeah, Rankin for sure.
Yeah, I'm Rankin as well. Out of the two, I'd be going there personally. Next question from Ronan Morris. Which option? Holmes and LDU to Miller and Neal, Holmes and Colby to Miller and Dunkley or Rankin, or rookie downgrade and Baz?
I'm gonna have to look at it. Sorry, man.
Yeah, have you got up on the screen or?
Nah, put it up for me.
Oh, you're lucky, Ronan. We do this for super chats, but because Jordox can't have all the information.
Well, you're the one reading them. I don't know where it is. Anyway, which options? Holmes and LDU to Miller and Neal. Holmes and Colby to Miller and Dunkley Rankin. All right. Let me have a think because there's a bit going on there. Geez, Miller and Neal are pretty nice, isn't they? Holmes and Colby to Miller and Dunkley Rankin. I don't know. I think it's 1 or 3 for me. I'll probably go to 3 to get Baz, to be honest. I couldn't say trade Colby in. I also wouldn't want to trade him out because of that. Same thing.
Like, we're talking about obviously Rankin and Miller are being good options, but that's also probably on the proviso that you've got these big boys, right? Bailey Smith is one of those top scorers. He sort of won 18 with a Windhager tag for half the game, and he goes
so good.
Melbourne, Collingwood, Essendon, North Melbourne, Richmond. It's an amazing run in the year. Yeah, you can make the argument that Ed Allen goes to Baz next week, but I just think you just need Baz in. I'm probably going there as well. So I'm just wondering, who is it? Are you going? So I'm assuming Holmes to Baz and then a rookie downgrade is probably what you're doing. Maybe that gets you enough cash into sideways, a couple of these guys, and maybe get Miller and Rankin in next week. Maybe get Baz this week and you get the other two next week. So if you can get Baz in, it's probably more difficult to get him. So I'm probably going there. But if you had to go one of the other ones, it's probably trading LDU out and getting Miller and Neal in. But then again, who would you actually just quit? Like if Rona had to go one of the other two, are you trading LDU or Colby out? Because I quite like Dunkley and Rankin as options. Is it Colby out to one of those two, or is it LDU out?
He's been pretty poor, hasn't he, LDU?
He's been middling.
He had a couple of good weeks there. Yeah, he's middling. I'd probably say LDU just because.
Well, we're talking about Colby's a
Yeah.
trade in, possibly. He's more probably close to a trade in than trade. That's what I mean. Colby's one of those guys that teams are looking to trade him out, but teams are also looking at possibly bringing him in. So it's just
and just the money on the head. The money on the head, like McCutcheon, like, he's just not worth much, versus LDU, who's sucked, but he's still got some money there. So
yeah, and St Kilda
he's still
week. St Kilda
yeah,
Windy could go to LDU as well. That's
I was going to say LDU's been pretty poor last few weeks, and he's still their number one trade target.
Yeah.
So yeah, not trade target, tag target.
Yeah. Tim's got a super chat here. Thank you, mate. Saying, do I go Durham to a mid like Neil or Sarong, or would you go Rankin or Myers? So I'd go Rankin over Myers for sure. So would you go Durham just to Rankin, get that done, or would you go Neil or Sarong?
I really think
Locking is a good option.
No, I really like the Sarong one. I really like the Sarong one.
Well, not over Rankin. Not over Rankin. I wouldn't do Sarong over Rankin personally.
Because the thing with Rankin is like on the weekend he was fantastic, 30 touches, yeah, but scores 92. Like, I just don't know if
that was in the wet. That was it. I think if he gets 30 touches on any other normal day, that's a 120. But I think it was because it was wet.
Yeah, you're right.
And it was just a tough matchup against.
It did go pretty well the week before, 138.
I'm just looking at the Collingwood this week. I think Dawson will get the Ed Allen attention, and I'm just looking at after that Etchman and Richmond, and like that's that day. So Essendon and Richmond. I'm looking at those two matchups and going, that's where you get it. So I'm probably going Rankin this week and get a midfielder next week. That's probably where I'm leaning for Tim. Yeah, I do it all the time, like just with mixing up the first letters of the two words and doing that. Did you hear on there was a clip on it on SEN the other day? Tom Morris said, Sydney have made 4 changes to their side, and they've got Bailey Rice brought back in the side. Then he corrected himself and said Bailey Bice. And then he's like, no, Riley Bice. So he got on like the 3rd or 4th trial. That was quite funny. So I'm sure anyone can relate to.
Make sure you don't do it with the wrong player like they did with Carmichael Hunt once upon a time. But I'll leave it at
that. yeah, exactly. But everyone I'm sure can relate to doing that, mixing the first 2 letters of 2 words and doing that. So anyway, Stamatic says thoughts on Holmes and Banks to Robertson Filippo, Whitfield and Miller. Hang on, what's that? Whitfield to Miller and then Artemis or Rankin to Bailey Williams. A little bit confused to make with the options there. So like I get the first one, Holmes and Banks to Robertson Filippo, but then it's like Whitfield / Miller and Artem. I'm assuming he's at the same outs. And then you just like looking at Robertson Filippo, and then one of Whitfield and Miller and Artemis. I'm assuming that's what you're doing. Or Rankin to Bailey Williams.
Yeah, so Holmes and Banks are out. He's saying Robertson, Filippo, Whitfield / Miller and Artemis, or Rankin and Williams. I'm assuming
that's what he does. It just says Rankin to Bailey Williams. I was like, well, you're not trying Rankin out, so
yeah. Just who do you like more? The couple, Robertson, Filippo, probably Robertson, Filippo, out of all them. Artemis wasn't quite what we'd hoped.
I'm assuming that would be like a Hulk Khan on field, probably, but I'm not bringing a rookie back on field at this time of year. I wouldn't want to be doing that. Again, I probably lean to the Rankin and Bailey Williams from the Dogs. Probably where I lean to. Bailey Williams has got Richmond this week. You take the bit of a punt on that one there. He's at a cheap price. Scored 111 on the weekend. He's cheap because of the injury and then his first game back, but Freo, North Melbourne. But I think just with that half back role that he played a bit on the weekend with no Bailey Dale, probably there. Like Bergman, you've also got there are the cheaper options. He's in a similar spot to you. Like he's trying to go Banks to someone around that price. So he's like, if he can go home slightly down, he can go Banks slightly up to a Bailey Williams or a Bergman or someone like that. So I'm probably leaning that last option, or as you said, the first option is probably the other one.
Yeah, I'd be doing Bergman over Williams myself, just because that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, don't mind that one. So hope that does help there. Alrighty, we'll keep going through some more questions. We're off about another 10 minutes, so then we'll wrap up. Next one. Will says, why people talking about bringing in Bergman? By the way, do you see my super chat bars? Yeah, Will, we answered that your super chat before. We were saying that we like your trades. We said that we going Holmes to Miller is good and Sarong to Filippo is good as well. We'd be ticking those two off. Bergman's an option for those that have got, say, Banks on field or have got a rookie on field trying to go slightly up to him, but also go Holmes out. And we think Bergman playing midfield could be okay, at least in the short term until he can...
It's a good point, and it's great because Wilbur is a Port fan, so I'd love the insight, because the fact that Bergman went into the middle in game 3 from those injuries is what I'm excited about. He only had 18 touches, but he had, I think, 7 tackles or whatever to get to the 81, whatever he scored this week. But yeah, it's probably just the role and the price. And yeah, I mean, if he just hits a couple of 90s for me at that price, I'll probably take that. So that's probably the mindset I've got there. I'm not expecting him to explode and, be a top 6 from here to the end.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's just one of those plays that can help.
A Port supporters' thoughts is what I was seeking. I was going to message Jordy as well. So
yeah. And for those teams that can just do normal trades and go Miller and like Neil or whatever and get 2 prems in, I'll be definitely doing that. But it's just for those coaches that have got a rookie on field or can't get a few players in one way, then that is an option to do.
I'm also ranked in the middle of absolute nowhere. So what have I got to lose? I'm just going to have a bit of fun with it.
Andrew Domahidi asking thoughts on Max Holmes to Wayne Miller and Isaac Heaney back injury to Paddy Cripps. And I know that Iris is here as well. Heaney injured. I think he had a back spasm. I think is he on the injury report? Like, is this a test or anything, or is it just not on the injury report? I'll have a quick look at that.
I don't think he was.
So Sydney. No, he's not even named on the injury report. So
no.
I think he's fine. I think it was just a bit of a Jordy's back almost a little bit in the game. So he's fine. I wouldn't be trading Heaney out. Penny Cripps has gone the weekend, but yeah, Holmes to Miller is good. Andrew, probably just a different second trade is what you're looking at there. Finger Call says, I can't get to ranking any other way than trading Sam Durham. Is that fine? Yep. Yeah. We think we're talking about it before. Yeah, you can definitely do that.
Yep.
Apparently, Eddie Sate says he needs small back issue, but wasn't named on the injury report. He did train separate to the main group today, though. Yeah, and we know that players at points throughout the year train away from the main group just to get through training and stuff for the week. So, we'll see what happens, but I think he should be fine. Stamatic says Whitfield or Miller. I think this week with the Jordan tag, does that get you over to Miller for this week, Jordox?
Probably, but I like Whitfield at 900k.
Yeah, he's good. I think you want him as well.
Is there a world they mix it up? Does Jordan go to Callahan?
He could. I just look at Sydney just as a matchup. Just not like.
Yeah.
Like if you could, I guess, what would you plan if you could do 2 defensive trades? Right, just go Miller this week, Whitfield next week. Is that what you probably do? Well, what was Whitfield's break even? But it'd still be high because of the injured score in 80. Yeah, 122. So you could wait. Like, what's Miller? What Miller's break even would be? Probably 76.
They've got to bounce back, the Giants. I mean, that was so bad to drop that game, and nothing would. Like, what a great way for the Giants to bounce back than knocking off Sydney and putting their top 4 or their top 2 chances in dire straits. So yeah, Ash was, their highest scorer was 89. And we talk about the Essendon matchup. Yeah. It was crazy. So yeah, anyway, my point is, I think Whitfield will play well, even with the attention.
Yeah.
Hey, I've seen a couple. I've seen a couple come through. I'd love to bring it up.
Go ahead.
Well, Ashton Vivian's just said it, and someone else earlier. Sorry, whoever it was, because I was going to call your name out as well. But if De Conning's in for the Saints, do we jump off Marshall? I mean, I'd preface that by saying if, you don't have the homes and the constant forced trades, if you're in a real luxury position, De Koning's back, do you say, hey, Marshall, thanks for the memories, see you later?
Not week one. Not week one. For two reasons. One, because TDK's missed a few weeks and Marshall's played really well. I think Marshall plays more forward TDK plays more forward for the first week, and Marshall's break even is 36.
Yeah.
You get a little bit extra money. You hope you get a good score. I'm not as certain that he'll be back this week. I think North Melbourne, St Kilda will probably back themselves in to win that, but then they have Sydney. I think maybe they bring TDK back for the Sydney matchup against Grundy next week. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking at this stage, but they are paying him $1.7 million. So maybe they're thinking, well, if he's fit and available, we're just going to bring him in anyway, which again, we all sit here and baffle our minds at going, why did St Kilda pay 1.7 for TDK when they had not even, and I know people just said a very capable ruck, but Marshall's not just a very capable ruck, he's a bloody good ruckman at that. So I think you're backing in Marshall for one more and you can wait and see how it looks.
Not relevant to fantasy, but just on that argument, because I fully get it. But don't forget what happened this year with the rucks and the way sides are playing with the 5-man bench is lots of teams are playing 2 rucks. So I don't think it was that crazy that they did it. I think it was probably just more crazy they didn't find a way to get Marshall to Geelong in the trade period. But anyway, that'll happen this off season, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Big Bondi says Callahan to Bont or Fitzgerald to Bergman as a 23rd primo. I'm just
Callahan
Bont. We're just locking in Bont. Yeah, I agree. I think I'm just locking in Bont. I don't mind the thinking though of that 23rd. I think I just want as a 23rd. I'd want to be going just a little bit higher just to get someone that can pop that big ceiling score. That's what 23rd real is about. But yeah,
and you want to find someone with those earlier games too. I mean, I haven't looked at the fixture, but I don't imagine there'd be too many Thursday night, Friday night games Port have just for the looping.
Yeah, and you probably want 23rd to be ideally a DPP. I didn't have to be, but ideally you get a defender mid or just maybe just a straight mid or even a mid forward.
Oh no, you're right.
No, just defender. So
yeah.
I just think, and getting Bont as well means you're probably banking a bit of cash. So maybe if you get no forced trades this week, Big Bondi, you might be able to go rookie right down. Then you might be able to go that Fitzgerald up, and you might be able to get a Caleb Sarong, for example. Right? Wouldn't mind that as you loop a midfielder if they got a tag, and if they fail, you bring Sarong on, something like that. So could think about that. But no, I don't mind the thinking. Iris says, I'm still fielding 2 rookies, Hall, Kahn and Fitzgerald, but really can't use my second trade to get anything I like the looks of. 19K to spend. Any suggestions in that price bracket? Well, we had some defenders in that we mentioned. Obviously, we mentioned Humphreys and Impey. Obviously, you mentioned Bergman there as well. I guess who you're getting is that first trade, because if you get like 40K more, that I think that puts the likes of Rankin into calculations and even a Cab Sarong. So could you take a 30K haircut on the first trade? That'd be what I'd be looking at. But 19K, who would you be picking if you had to pick one? Is it one of Impey or Humphreys? Is that where you're going from that price bracket?
Just having a look now. Well, Archie Roberts is at 817. I think you could do worse than taking a punt on him.
You probably go Roberts over those other 2, I think.
Yeah. And then who else is there? Myers, I don't know. Yep. And then I'd go Roberts.
Yeah, I'd go Roberts as well. Yeah, your 2K inside there. I'll just put like a Desire or something like that into your midfield and just do that. Rubbum, any chat about Dunkley? He's had 130, 130, 115, 75 in his last 4. Well, Rubbum, you may be looking at my trades this week, but currently he's coming in for me, Josh Dunkley. I love Dunkley as an option. We see it every year. Like it's just probably taken a little bit longer than previous years for Duncan to really get going. But like 3 scores over 115 his last 4. He's back in form. He's got a pretty good matchups to come for someone like him for high stoppages. So Port Adelaide, Carlton, Hawthorn, Gold Coast, and Collingwood. I really like those matchups for him. So I think, at 9.34, price mid-90s, I really like it.
You know why Dunkley does this every year? I think, think about the type of footy we've seen the last 4 or 5 weeks. It's been wet. and cold, and
Yeah.
that's just when he gets going, when the game slows down and he starts laying those tackles. He's interesting. I mean, I was a little bit not sure after his 130 the other week, because then the next week he backed it up, but he took the 14 tackles to get there. Bit quieter against the Bombers, and then this week he's taken 10 marks. He scored what was it, 86 points in the second half, Dunkley.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But that's the big thing. The marks being back is the big thing. When Dunkley's marking, that's where these massive scores can come. And if he's marking, McCluggage, I just don't see being a factor for, obviously, as the main Brisbane midfield. I think it is clearly Neil, Dunkley, Ashcroft. I think they're the three. And then you've even probably got a Zach Bailey ahead of McCluggage at the moment, just with how well he's playing. So I think that with that there, as you said, with the being a bit more wet, we know Dunkley gets going, and I'm a big fan of Dunkley as an option at 9. It's 9.34 as well, right? He's normally $1 million midfielder in fantasy, but the fact you can get him for a lot cheaper because he's been poor for the first part of the year, I'm pretty keen if you're looking for someone around that price. Like if you're comparing like Dunkley and like your likes of Callahan types, I'm definitely going Dunkley out of all those. So yeah, I do really like him as an option. What do we got? 57 minutes. So we'll go 2 more questions. We'll wrap up. All right, let's go. Is there someone we haven't talked about? See, we talked about actually a lot more names, probably than what we usually do. Actually,
well, I'll give you a name. Just someone that
yeah.
I think hasn't been mentioned in anything.
I love Rubbum says I love hearing validation. So yeah, good stuff.
Oh, good. In the forward line, just 884K, and I'll just tell you his last 7 scores and see if you can guess it. All right, 107, 97, 83, 97, 96, 97, 112. Forward line under 900K. So that's 2 tons, 4 90s, and an 80.
Mason Wood.
Same team.
Oh, okay. Same team, not Maxwell. No, Darcy Wilson. I talked about
Darcy
Friday.
Wilson.
Yeah, Darcy Wilson. Yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh, I missed that. Yeah. Well, yeah. I just couldn't believe that. I was looking at him for finest keepers last night.
He's been very good. There's a big reason why a lot of teams out there are looking at him as a trade option.
Maybe you could come to Adelaide if Bailey doesn't. Anyway, but yeah, he's playing midfield. He's looking good. He's 886K. It's
a pod.
Not chump. It's a pod. It's not chump change. It's not a bargain necessarily, but it's a pod. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
so and St Kilda scoring a heap of I would as well. But St Kilda scoring a heap of points at the moment. So, and I think they play 4 of the last 5 games at Marvel, which we know that happens every year. And as Ruben said, you don't want Dunkley against the bottom 4 teams. Yeah, agreed. Like the Essendon matchup wasn't a good matchup for Dunkley, but I think these matchups coming up, I think could be pretty good coming up. So I agree. What do you got? Just have a look.
Why'd you trade Gallup out from him? He's a superstar.
Well, he is one. So Corey Blattledge says, I like Garcia as an option as well. Like we'll end off here because we haven't talked about Garcia. We think Guesty spoke about him briefly on Sunday, but he's been really, really good. Like it's crazy. We're looking at him as a 400K starting option last year to now he's 950K, and he's gone 4 tons in a row, 5 of his last 6 there. If people want to have a bit of fun, could you go? I'd still rather like your Dunkley types around him, but could you go him as a different option?
Yeah, you could. 950 though. I just feel like it's one you had to do a couple of weeks ago. But it's killing it, and he's doing it. Like he's really accumulating. Like you look at the possession count. I mean, it's nearly 30 every week. 36.
He's been good. He's not really tagging anymore. He's playing just a genuine midfielder.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do it, but I don't mind if people want to have a bit of fun and you go for someone a little bit different there as well. So, and I like, as you said, Brum training Gallup out feels terrible. Yeah, I know it will feel terrible when I have to train him out, but at some point I have to cash him in if I don't run out of time with all these injuries. Case John's final one here. Rank these guys. So Rankin, Miller, and Dunkley.
Dunkley. Oh. Rankin, Dunkley, Miller.
I think I'm the exact same three as well. I think I'm probably
Yeah.
going there, but I think Miller probably is going to be more of an option this week because people have got Max Holmes. I think that's why Miller is a lot more on the table, I think, this week. But that will wrap us up. But trades this week, Jordox, what are you looking at doing?
So I had them earlier. I sent them to you boys, I think. I've got two options. So Holmes to Bergman. I'm pretty happy with that as it stands. And then it's just whether I trade out Paul Kahan or Jacob Farrow, who are both on field for me, by the way. If it's Paul Kahan, I can go to Caleb Sarong, and I'm pretty comfy with that. I'd like to get onto that. But if it's Farrow, I can get Bont with the Richmond matchup. So
I'm
be one of the two. Let's go Farrow to Bont, and I can loop Paul Kahan and see what else I can do there. The person before, just quickly, who said, still got two rookies on field. I fielded 5 rookies on field this week, just gone. But have a listen to the ins in my side this week, assuming everyone's in. Shea Bolton, Jason Horne-Francis, Will Day. Let's go. They're all on my bench last week because they're all 1 week, all 1 weekers. And I had the two.
And I know that
the injuries last week.
I know that we've all had bad luck this year with stuff, but I don't know if I've ever seen someone have more bad luck in a season than you. Like it's ridiculous. Like
last week was an all-timer. To have 5 primos out in 1 week, and then friggin' who was the defender I traded out? I can't remember who it was, but I brought in Max Holmes, and that night he got injured, broke his ankle. Good God, what is happening? So
I know,
anyway,
I know.
You got to laugh.
But hey, at least you had that week after the year's been so bad anyway. At least it's probably like it's like, oh, we just laugh, right? Whereas
I wasn't on last week, but I had the big week. I actually had a good score. I'm like, here we go. And
then you
5
went on. Yeah. So
anyway, what about you, man? You're looking at Dunkley?
Yes, yep. So current trades at the moment for me is Max Holmes to Wayne Miller, and LDU is going to Josh Dunkley. I just think I took the punt on LDU in round 15 when Baz was out with the Richmond matchup and Essendon as well, but just hasn't worked. He's got a ceiling. It could bite me at 1 week or another, but at the end of the day, I'm wanting to get these better players in. I've got a big final up against Holmes this week, the Content Creators Cup, so I need to win that one to get the week off, move to a prelim, and I've got other big matchups in leagues, and I think that LDU is someone that if he drops a 60 or a 70 in any matchup, it could cost me because he'll be unique. Whereas, I think Dunkley's got a higher floor, but also just as big a ceiling as LDU and probably more consistent. So I think I like those trades. I have looked at getting a look at Hall Kahan and seeing how he goes. If he goes well, getting a Will Ashcroft instead. But I feel like if I'm still getting Miller plus Josh Dunkley, I'm like, I might as well just get Josh Dunkley in and into that Brisbane mid. So I think that's where I'm doing. And as Rowan said, quick, everyone trade LDU in. He's going to go ceiling score this week. Yeah, you're probably right. That's probably what's going to happen as well. And Andrew, Sam Durham to Darcy Wilson is I don't mind that trade. If you want to take a bit of a punt, I'd probably go for a Zach Bailey type around the similar price. But if you want to go something different, I don't hate the idea. So. Alrighty, that'll wrap us up. But appreciate everyone tuning in. As always, Jordox bringing the pill find you across the socials, your team name for foes, and latest episode of Finders Keeps came out yesterday. Where can they find that?
Yep, so I'm on X at Jordox 2020. Team name is Leather Poisoned, and Finders Keepers did come out last night, which is my podcast that I started last year on Keeper League. So if you're playing a Keeper League or a Draft League, definitely check it out on Spotify and all those places. It's worth a listen. And have a great week, everyone. Home stretch now.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. Thank you, mate. And you can find me at BAILSDT across the socials, us at AFL Fantasy Fans on X as well. We'll be back on Friday for our Pre-Lockout Chat. As always, all the usual content will drop throughout the week. And also, our next AFLW Fantasy Pod, me and Tom recorded one on Monday night, so it'll be coming out tomorrow. We looked at all the premiums. So if you are doing AFLW Fantasy this year and want to And even if you haven't done it before and you're sort of thinking, should I, shouldn't I highly recommend it. It's good fun. 3 trades per week. And we talk about all the premiums, so all the big dogs. So yeah, make sure you guys tune to that tomorrow. That'll be dropping as well as trade talk. So make sure you guys do check both those out. We'll catch you guys on Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. Do all that stuff on YouTube. They'd be very much appreciated. 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll catch you guys on Friday for a pre-lockout chat. So thanks, everyone. Catch you then. See ya.
See ya.